We have Brian Ellis from North Rowan. He's the third North Rowan track and field athlete inducted into the North Carolina Track and Field and Cross Country Hall of Fame, and the fourth overall with Coach Steele, Robert Steele, being inducted in our first class in 2019. So congratulations on the induction. And as we were just talking, what a legacy and a program that Coach Steele built, and the how it showed the type of kids that he had at the school who worked hard and who had talent and made the most of their abilities. What was it? When did you know that, hey, I can be successful at this sport?
I kind of knew I was a runner at a very young age. I used to win all the field days in elementary school, so I knew that I was a fast kid, but I didn't know the technical parts of track and field. The starts, the gun. I didn't know anything about track until I really started working with Coach Steele. And even before then, I wasn't even going to run track. I was going to play baseball. So, yeah.
So what was there? When did you find out that? When did you know that you were going to be good at the triple jump? Because that seemed to be, that's what people knew about. That's what people knew Coach Steele for. Like that was his signature event.
So I think I kind of knew I was going to be good. Probably a meet at Duke, which is now called the Russell E. Blunt Invitational. And I had finally beaten Reggie and Emmanuel, who were the other two triple jumpers that jumped 50 feet. That was my first little gold medal. I said, at that point, I was like, they're not going to beat me anymore. So that's when I knew I still needed to work hard. Still needed to, improve my technique. But at the same time, I just thought that this is probably going to either get me a scholarship, get me out of where I was living, and just see the world. Mm-hmm. So that's when I kind of knew.
When you hit 53, I think it was 53.2 or 53.3, I think it was 2 3/4. When you hit that, was going over the 53-foot barrier, was that a dream, or was that, hey, I thought I could have gone 54?
It was a goal.
Yeah.
Most definitely. My junior year, I think I jumped 50 feet something. And so I was constantly improving about 3 feet per year. Mm-hmm. So when I first started, I think my freshman year was like 44. Then I went to 47. Then I went to 50. And I was like, so 53 is attainable. So I think, that was one of my goals my senior year. And I was like, well, if it's 3 feet pretty much every year, then and I would break it down what my first phase should be, what my second phase should be, what my third phase should be. And I watched a lot of Mike Conley and Kenny Harrison at the time. So they broke it down, and I was trying to break it down the way they broke it down. And 53 was attainable for me. And I thought I could go more, actually, but didn't get it. But, yeah.
What was your favorite event, long or triple? Or was it something else?
It was the triple jump. I enjoyed the long jump too, but I think the long jump was a smaller margin of error. Mm-hmm. Whereas the triple jump, if you were off a little bit in the first phase, or, you could adjust a second phase or a third phase. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was just, you could take your time. It was sort of a dance to me. Mm-hmm. It was always rhythm. And that's what Coach Steele preached too, was a lot of rhythm. Like, it has a sound like, and you can't rush it. You can go fast, but once you hit that board, it's no rushing anymore. It's technique, it's rhythm, it's power. You already have the speed, so yeah.
What is your favorite memory from North Rowan? You guys accomplished so much at the school, with state championships, individual and team. Mm-hmm. But what was your most memorable moment?
I had nothing to do with track. But Coach Steele, my freshman year, I was terrible at long and triple jump. But he played a video in his van, because he had one of those vans with the back seat. Yeah. Come Fly With Me, Michael Jordan. And that would always encourage us. to say you can get cut
Mm.
and still be the best.
Mm.
And he pushed this. I wish he was here.
Yeah, he wanted this for you so much. Remember him telling me on the phone. He loved his kids for sure.
It was so many memories of, riding the buses, and we used to get in trouble sometimes with him.
Mm.
But it wasn't just about track. He was my history teacher.
Mm.
I had AP English, AP history with him. I had another class with him my freshman year. So you got to know the person.
Mm.
It wasn't all about track.
Yeah.
It was life lessons. Like, he took me home so many times. He knew my mom worked from 7 p.m. at night to 7 a.m. I was at the house by myself.
Mm.
So he took care of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I had conversations with him on the phone, and when you were in school,
Mhm.
and we were talking about like the summer meets that he was trying to get you guys to,
Yeah.
and he loved you guys a lot. Yeah.
He introduced us to Durham Striders. Miss Brenda Armstrong, God rest her soul. She kept me, Reggie, and Emmanuel at her house, along with another guy named Mike and another guy named Sherman. But she also housed some of the Duke football players who we got to know, but they both went to the NFL. We're kids. We're 15 years old, and we get to see some pro athletes in their regular element. Like, I understood that Karsten Hines, he loved jazz music. So I picked up jazz music from a football player that I probably would have never gotten to meet had it not been for Coach Steele saying, hey, you guys go run for Durham Striders, and you're going to stay with Brenda Armstrong for the summertime. And we didn't have to pay for anything. She provided it for us. And, it's a lot of hands and everything. But Coach Frank and Coach Donnie, they said, hey, whatever you guys need, if Coach Steele says you're good, you're good. And it wasn't just me. I mean, God, it was other people that ran for the Durham Striders as well. So this is not a me by myself award. A lot of hands went into it.
Yeah.
A lot of hands.
If a high school boy or girl came up to you and said, Brian, what does it take to be successful, and when I graduate, what am I gonna probably remember the most out of this sport?
It takes consistency to be successful. If you're consistent, you're committed, of course, hard work, dedication, all those things, but it's just showing up every day and learning something new and being better than you were the previous day, or better than you were the previous meet, better than you were the previous basketball game, football game, whatever. Learning from your mistakes, improving upon every aspect. You got to sometimes see yourself in sort of a bad light to know what you got to improve on. We didn't have much technology then, we had the big camcorders, but me, Manuel, and Reggie would take a VHS tape, pop it in, or, the little 8mm, whatever you got, 9mm, and we will watch ourselves after practice, but it's just consistency, doing the small things, staying late, all of those little things, they really matter, especially if it's very technical. And not only in, sports, but just in your day-to-day life. Like, I'm a police officer currently, so if I don't remove my weapon every single day, I probably won't be able to do it if I needed to.
Right.
I need to go to a gun range and do what I need to do. I need to practice. Doesn't make perfect, but you'll be consistent. Consistency is the key for me.
Yeah. It's neat to hear, because that seems like that's what a lot of the elite athletes say, is that consistency, and then like that's huge, right? And then you just have to keep going after it, and you
Absolutely.
have to work. We have Brian Ellis from North Rowan High School. Incredible athlete, incredible person, even more. And again, congratulations on being inducted into the North Carolina High School Track and Field
Thank
and
you.
Cross Country Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
We're honored to honor you today.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.